Hi everyone, thank you for joining us on the Finance Story. So today I have with me CA Rohit Kapoor, who's the Chief of Finance at Boimer, and CA Mohit Kapoor again, who's a finance leader with PayPal based in San Jose, California. What is common, between both of them is that both of them are CAs and they actually took multiple attempts to clear the exams, but still, you know, they took their career trajectory on the right path and did not let multiple attempts actually impact them. So, would you believe if I told you that Mohit actually took overall 11 attempts to clear the exams, and Rohit took again a number of attempts and cleared the exams at the age of 33? So today I have Mohit and Rohit, both joining us to help, those going through similar challenges, with multiple attempts, and those already, who have cleared CN with multiple attempts, and wondering if you could actually grow in your career, like in comparison to those with a fewer attempts, or in the first attempt itself. So Mohit and Rohit, thank you so much for joining in. Mohit,
My
you woke
pleasure.
up early, 6:30. Thank you. And Rohit, I took your Friday evening. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot for the time.
Thank you, Senthil. Thank you
No
for
worries.
inviting.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, I'll just ask you my questions. Okay. And the outcome of this entire conversation is to help those who are struggling to clear their exams. Okay. And second one, those who have already cleared their exams with multiple attempts, how should they pave their path? So that they are not less in comparison to someone who's cleared in the first attempt or who was cleared with a rank. So, Mohit, I'll start with you. Okay. If I look at the stats of the 2022 results, okay, when it comes to group 1 there were 66,000 students who appeared, okay, and group 2 63, and combined almost 30,000 students, but only 21% on an average cleared the exams. 21%, okay, so out of 66,000,
Mhm.
21% cleared the exams. Okay, so that means a whole lot of them in CA final did not clear the exams. Okay, so to start with, Mohit, I would like to tell you, can you take us through your CA journey, okay, and how you dealt with the number of attempts? Can you take us first through your journey?
Sure, sure. So let me just start off by saying that hey, number of attempts is a number. It does impact you, but don't look at it that ways. For all those who are listening in and who have been appearing for the exams multiple times, I know it requires a lot of effort. What's more important is the learning journey that you go through it. As far as I'm concerned, so yeah, I did appear for the CA final exam several times. A lot of my support, which came in from my family, my parents, my brother, and my friends and relatives, that helped me a lot navigating through it. But the other thing, other than your family who's keeps on supporting you, it's important that you keep your head still, you keep the learning curve alive, and that's something which will help you always, even after you qualify, or even for those folks who haven't qualified. It's always going to help you. Learning is one part of it, or getting the qualification is one part of it, and but applying what you've learned throughout your career is what will take you where you want ultimately in your career. So for me, that's what I kept doing. I kept working as well, all throughout my studies as well. I kept my learning alive, and finally, when I qualified, I was able to present myself in front of the corporate world with someone who's more mature, who has what it takes to be a qualified professional, and be available in the market. To keep just start working immediately. So I think that's what is very important as you go along this journey through the multiple attempts.
Cool. Mohit, that's some great advice. Would you want to tell us a little bit about your CA journey? What was it like? When did you start? When did it finish? Okay, I know you kept the learning alive in that span, but can you take us through the ups and downs and what was happening exactly?
Yeah, so I started off in '97 enrolling for my CA Foundation for the CA Foundation program, and I started studying at Delhi University as well at Hindu College. Uh, Cleared the CA Foundation exams in the first attempt, and immediately enrolled for the articleship. Uh, During the course of my graduation itself, I was able to clear the intermediate exams. Again, like that took me a few attempts, but I went through that, and I moved back to Lucknow, my hometown, where I was working with one of my uncles, my maternal uncle, who's been a mentor to me as well. Uh, so he was my first guide per se in the chartered accountancy world. So I worked with him for a few years while appearing for the exams as well, and then moved over to Delhi after a few years, where I worked with a firm called Nagia and Company, which is now Nagia Anderson. It's one of the partners for the Anderson Group. I worked with that firm for about a year, and luckily after that I got a chance to uh, work with Deloitte in their audit and assurance vertical. Worked with them for a couple of years, and during that time is when I got lucky and I qualified for my C exams. Um, Soon after qualifying, a few months after that, I thought of moving into the corporate world, into the industry. That's what my preference was, moving out from the consulting into the industry world. And I got an opportunity with Becton Dickinson, which is one of the bigwigs in medical device sector. I got a great mentor over there as well, Shamitro, who helped me not just step into the industry, but how to navigate through. He was a great career counselor for me right at the start when I started off my career. So I worked with him and Becton Dickinson for a few years and navigated through multiple roles in there, starting off as an internal controls expert and SOX person, but then moving on as the finance controller, sorry, the assistant finance controller, and finally into the financial planning team. And that, I think, started off my journey as a complete professional because I was able to work into different verticals, trying to understand how the business works, understand what business partnership is all about. So that actually set the base for me when I was actually ready to move into the next stage of my career. From there, I moved over to Pentax Medical, which was starting off their business in India. So they hired me as the head of finance for the South Asia business region. I worked with them for a couple of years, helped them set up their business in India, the supply chain, and then moved over to PayPal, where I still am for the last almost 9 years. Have been into multiple roles here as well. Started off as the controller for their development center, and then when they started off their India payments business, I took over that role as the controller for overall PayPal's India business. And for the last couple of years, I've been in the financial planning team here at PayPal and moved over to the corporate office in San Jose.
Wow, that's amazing. So, Mohit, you which year did you complete your CA?
That was in 2006.
Wow. Okay, almost it was a long time. Okay, now Rohit, I'll ask you about your journey. Can you tell us about your journey? Okay, and then I will ask you further questions of how did you actually handle that phase. So Rohit, would you want to share about your journey?
Sure. As Mohit and all other CAs have the same story, mine is also the same. I started my career in 2004 after clearing my foundation. I started CA enrollment in 2001 and CS all simultaneously. I was going both the foundation course into one by one. So I enrolled in 2001 along with my BCom graduation as well. So in 2002, I cleared my foundation and for both the CA and CS. Now we started the articleship from there onwards. So after completion of articleship, it was supposed to be cleared for the found intermediate as well for CA and company secretary, but I could not able to clear my CA and CS both as an intermediate. So started appearing from there onward. So it took multiple attempts in intermediate clearance as well. But thankfully, CS was cleared earlier than compared to CA. So if I talk about the clearance of enter to final in company secretary, which was cleared in December 2006. Whereas after multiple attempts, even I could able to clear my CA Group 1 somewhere in May 2007. So, which was supposed to be clear somewhere around in 2005. So, this intermediate clearance journey took approximately 2 years later, which was supposed to be cleared in 2005, got cleared in 2007. The only problem arises after 2007 when you already are in part of the corporate world, when you completed your articleship and you have nothing to do, sitting at home, just keep on studying the same material. You just need to come out of the comfort of your zone and start working for your living as well. So the same happens with me, and in 2000 I started working since 2005, uh, and thereupon this appearing for CA final every term, be it to May, be it November from 2007 onwards, and keep on working on with the corporate organizations. But finally, it took around 7 years, and I got cleared in November 2013, my CA final second group. So, though the foundation and final group was cleared little early, it took 6 years to clear me the second group to get this degree of CA. But yes, I got company secretary in 2006. I became company secretary in 2006, and thereupon you keep on adding your post qualification experience, which is the I think the thumb rule which all the companies used to look out. Whenever you float your CV, they always ask her, what is your post qualification experience? So they compare from the day when you passed out of your qualification, which is in true sense, I still believe it's not relevant as of now. So this is in crux the small journey which took time to get my degree.
Wow, that's a lot of persistence. Okay, it's a lot of persistence. So Mohit, so Mohit, I'll start with you. Okay, so Mohit, in that 10-year phase or 9-year phase, okay, how did you deal with everything? I know you had support of family, support of relatives, friends, but how did you deal with the fact that a lot of your peers are going ahead? Okay, see, I think that is also not an easy part, right? When everyone is going ahead, but for no reason you are just stuck not moving ahead. So that's one. Can you address that? How did you deal with it? Because a lot of others are in a similar situation. That's one. Second one is, you said you already kept your learning curve active. So what happens is, when you're giving your exams, it happens twice a year, right? So you have to study for 2 months, and then you don't get leave, you don't get to join the right organization because you have to take study leave every now and then. So can you touch on these two aspects in depth?
Certainly. So I think dealing is it's easy to say as well. Like, I can talk about big words on how you should keep your frame of mind, how you should keep patience. But yeah, it is difficult during that phase because once you get a failure, it remains at the back of your mind. It's very difficult to come out of it. What is important is just uh, relax, think about it, what went wrong, and try to get learning from that as well. And I think that's what a lot of motivators also keep saying, that you learn from your failures. And in a way, it's true as well. It's difficult, but then that is what you should keep learning on, what happened and how you don't repeat it again. So just keep thinking about what went wrong, what could have been done in a better manner. Even if you succeed, there are things which can always be done in a better manner. uh, and keep the patience alive. If you have the motivation for a particular qualification, if you really like doing what you've thought of, just go for it, and keep that as a motivating factor for you to go on and on. That's one thing. As far as the learning is concerned, so learning doesn't just come in from the books. That's just one part of it. And the beauty of the CA curriculum is that they don't tell you just to learn from books. It's an on-job learning, and that is really important for all the people who just think that just qualifying the exams means that you have learned everything. That's not it is. That's not how it works. Uh, the on-site learning, on the job learning, is very relevant for everyone, and specifically for the CA professionals, why they are where they ought to be, or how they get into senior roles in the corporate world, is how they have kept this learning on the job alive and how they keep growing from there. It's just studies is one part of it. The theoretical training is just one part of it, but practically how you learn from that and how you apply all those learnings is what is more relevant.
So, like, Mohit, like, did you get depressed? Did you get sad? Like, it's not easy just studying, because CA is a course wherein you just do one thing. It's not like, hey, you can go, you can enjoy. You somehow just focus only on becoming a CA. So, was it a depressing phase, and how did you motivate yourself? I mean, now I know it's a long time back, but can you just go back and tell us what did it break your confidence, and how did you bring yourself up?
Yeah, certainly it is a bit demotivating. It'll be wrong to say that hey, I was happy and it didn't affect me. It did affect a lot, and of course, as I mentioned, like the family is your biggest pillar to help you in such kind of a situations. I had an awesome bunch of friends, some of them who were also into multiple attempts category. So in a way, we had a jing bang also, that hey, we would kind of make fun around things that hey, how many attempts have you taken? Hey, that's not much. I've taken more than you. So things like that, we would kind of joke around. But yeah, that was just to keep things alive, how to keep things in a more uh, uh, a friendly manner. But I think it's important how you keep your head at it, how you think about it. I always wanted to be a finance professional. Uh, Not that I didn't think about other career opportunities. So there was a time when I thought of just quitting CA. I started appearing for CAT and other management programs. I also applied for certain universities outside the country to do that, as well as within the country. So that was a bit difficult. I kept my options alive, but then at the end of the day, when I went for some of these interviews at the companies, like even I appeared for interviews uh, as a semi-qualified professional itself, I thought that hey, I can't do that anymore. But at the end of the day, when I would come back home and think about it, I always got the feeling that hey, this is something which I need to complete. I cannot just leave it where it is. And as the number of attempts went through, I in a way that kind of that feeling increased, because I said that I've come a long way, and I need to complete it. It's I cannot leave it just like that. But again, like that's something which was a personal feeling. I know it's not easy for everyone, or that's not how everyone would think. But that's what kept me going on and on. Like I kept appearing for the exams, I kept working, I kept learning. As I kept working, I could understand what relevance a CA professional has in the corporate world, how you can make a difference in the industry, and that kept motivating me.
So from what I see, it didn't make you a bitter person. You were not like, hey, it didn't make you a bitter person at all. I mean, that's one thing that I'm observing.
Yeah, not a bitter person definitely, but it did make me more mature. I wasn't as patient maybe earlier as I am after that, because ultimately I had to wait a long time to get the qualification. So it didn't make me bitter, but yeah, it does change your character a bit after going through such kind of a thing.
That's amazing. Rohit, now it would be great if you can tell me how did you handle that phase of ups and downs and failures with family to, as a responsible earning member of a family? How did you handle all of that?
Like as I said, until 2007 everything was going well. It's couple of attempt here and there, but once you start appearing and it's not getting clear, the frustration always keeps on coming into your head. And after 2 3 years of time, when you see that nothing is happening and lot of pressure from corporate, and you need to make your living as well, then you got married as well, you have a wife, you have a daughter, so everything is going not as per the plan which you thought as a very individual thing at the start of the career, that you will have the certain qualifications, you will reach at that level and all that stuff. But these kind of pressures will always keep on mounting. But the only fact and the thought process which ones have, or which I had, is that if you, I always believe that if you get a tag of a failure, you will never able to succeed. So that fear or that scaredness of the tag of fear was always behind my back. So that keeps on pushing me always to work hard, to study, to study. That's the reason I never skip any of the attempt from 2007 to 2000. Even if I didn't study, I went to appear for exams. The centers was nearby. I keep on changing my centers also, so that you feel some kind of motivation as well. You, because when you live in a society, you will find a lot of people, your younger generation also coming up with the organizations. As Mohit said, that their friends were simultaneously not able to clear the exam, so keep on sharing. But in my case, all my friends have cleared in the first attempt. So that was still a backdrop for me as well, that everybody is clearing and I'm not able to clear that stuff. So that was the pain point which was there always with me. But as I said, the fear of failure was always there, not to be tagged, as you could not able to succeed in life, and how long will you able to manage things like this. So uh, it's better to keep on motivating yourself, keep on studying yourself, even on a daily basis. I suggest, if you are currently in the same phase, if somebody is currently in the same phase, at least do not leave the studies. Once you are working, going back home, for the sake of getting in touch with the books, just open your books, sit in your comfort area, and let's for half an hour study the topic which is more interested to you, so that you get in touch with on a regular basis, and you have the zeal, because everybody needs at least 10-15 days of time before exams, if you have multiple attempts, to give a thorough study and then appear for exams. So if you are in touch from the day one, then there will not be a much problem as you face suddenly appearing for. I know a couple of my friends as of now who is of my age and still not able to clear the exams. So I keep on telling them, please do not leave the studies. Even if you clear at the age of 40 or at the age of 45, the remaining 15-20 years of your life will be, at least you will feel, have the confidence that you have achieved something and you are not left with a failure. So the only point which I believe as of now, a tag of failure is somewhat you should avoid.
Okay.
So
So, Rohit, how did you motivate yourself? Like, I know you were working, I know you said, okay, you're pushing yourself, but there must be days where you felt you doubted yourself. So, how did you pull yourself up from that situation?
correct. It's always, there is no point that nobody will doubt your capabilities. Why? Because when you are in the society, you comes to know a lot of other peers as well, your friend circles, your juniors as well. When you start comparing with their analytical skills with yours, so you will doubt your analyticals. Why I can't able to clear the exams? Why somebody younger generations are clearing the exams? So at some point of time, there is no hope. Either what I believe, do you have any other options? As simple as that. If you have any other options, then please stop at the first attempt. If you're not able to clear, look for other opportunities, but make sure that if you opt for other opportunities, you are self-sufficient to manage till the end of your life. But if you don't have any other opportunities and you are to complete the qualification which you have started, because the thumb rule is that even on the day-to-day working, day-to-day corporate world, we work as a thumb rule that whatever we have started, we need to complete. We cannot leave it in the middle of something what we do. So at some point of time, there is no motivation as well, there is no thought process, you will start doubting yourself. But the only mantra which you need to follow, that you need to achieve the goal. As simple as that. If you keep on failing, you should not lose the hope, you keep on trying. At some point of time, you will succeed. So you need to keep on motivating inherent. Nobody will tell. Your family is always there to support, my wife was always there to support me, but ultimately that you need to take the zeal out of that, that you need to motivate yourself, that from every day, from the start of the day, that yeah, hey, I need to clear this, I need to clear this. Be it your studies, be it, do whatever you like, but the ultimate goal is that you need to study and clear the exams. So
It's amazing. So, Rohit, I'll ask you this. Okay, so how do you know it's worth it? How do you know it's worth it? So, there are like, if you have to go back in time, would you still continue with the CA journey? Okay, or you would have probably done something else and skip that entire phase, which is not easy to handle. So, what would you do?
as far as my I'm concerned I should not have stopped in the middle. As I said, my thought process was very clear that I need to clear. It was not getting because I was not that bad in studies, not great as well, but it was an average student. So I have never seen the failure in my life prior to that during my school days or my graduation. Even the foundation was cleared at first go, and yes, the CA was hard. And at that point of time, when I cleared in 2004, at that point of time, clearing company secretary was much harder than a CA. I know a lot of people who have cleared their CAs but not able to clear their company secretaries, because at that point of time there were two groups of papers, and all the eight papers in the group are consists of the theory writings. So it was much more difficult to clear company secretaries than CA, which I believe if you don't have the mug up powers at that point of time. So I was not that bad in studies. I used to study a good, but the problem of getting failure, and once it's very clear when you work in an articleship or you working for a company, you feel the differences for a semi-qualified person or a qualified person. You will feel much more difference with the consulting firm. If you have been working for a consulting firm, I feel you will feel discriminated with terms of the semi-qualified person and a qualified person, because there is a difference you will feel. And if that difference is humiliating you, then you don't have any other option. You need to clear this to come at par with all the other qualified person, because it's no fault from their angle also. They need to show some differences between a qualified person and a semi qualified person. And if you need to achieve to that level, then there is no other option left to achieve. So I believe that if you start something, give a clear thought on your perspective, why you want to do become a CA, why you want to do it. It's just not that your friends are doing it, you have a society pressure, your parents are saying you have enrolled, and you love something different and you don't want to complete your CO. Don't do it. If you are clear with your thought process, if you are enrolling with a clear vision that I will complete, so in spite of multiple failures, please go and complete it, so that you don't have to face a failure at later part of time. I still believe if you clear at the age of 23, 24, fair enough, very good. If CA qualification getting cleared with a 2%, 3%, 10% of passing percentage, which we are getting for last 5, 7 years. Earlier, it was only 1 or 2% of passing percentage. Now the passing percentage also increasing from 2, 3% to say 10, 12%. So there is still a scope. Please study hard, because without studying you won't be able to clear your exams. But once you have started, don't leave without completing.
Okay, that's interesting. So Mohit, I'm coming to you. Okay, what do you think? Okay, if you were in a similar situation today, what advice would you give others? Should they go through the entire thing, or there are other qualifications which they could pursue, and any benchmark?
So I would not make a general comment on that. That what they should be doing. I think it's more around what you're passionate about, what do you like doing. Certainly, if you make a lot of attempts, it does leave a doubt whether you're worth it or not, whether you're good enough as well or not. Uh, and people do look for different careers. As I mentioned, that I had started appearing for the various competitive exams for MBA. So keep those options as well, but then ultimately it's what you like doing. Uh, that's what counts. What's your passion? And if you have a passion to do things the way a chartered accountant has to work things out, you need to go for that passion to complete it. You should not leave any stone unturned to go through it. I think that's what is important. But having said that, if it's just about making a career as any finance professional, there are different things that you can do. It's not just going for a C exam. There are so many other competitive exams which give you an equal or a better advantage in the corporate world as well. Might as well go for that. So one needs to be very much clear about what exactly they want to do, how they want to pursue their career, what is the path that they like doing, and then go through it. Uh, as far as my journey is concerned, yes, I do think things could have been done in a better way, and of course, that there always are. I don't think that I might have chosen a different profession at the end of the day when I look at it now. Yes, I did spend a lot of years just appearing for the exams. I did lose out several of those years in the career, but then I think I was able to use some of the time that I spent uh, to help my career grow as well, to build myself more as a matured professional during that time. There are certain learnings how I could have approached things in a better way, how I could have appeared for the exams better prepared, more disciplined in some of those things. But yeah, ultimately, uh, at the end of the day, what matters is how you're able to navigate through those things, how you keep those learnings alive, and how you learn from the failures or the things which haven't gone well. You take those learnings and don't repeat them again.
Okay, that's amazing. So Mohit, when you say you could have been more disciplined, so do you feel that in your journeys, of your CA journey, you were not very disciplined somewhere, and you think that could have led to the certain times you're not passing? Was Could it be that?
So I would not say I was not disciplined, but when I say more disciplined, I think things could have been done in a better way. When you look back and try to understand what didn't go well, that's probably one of the things. We do think about different things in life, like uh, it- people don't remain focused on the path. You kind of and when you're young, you have a lot of things going on in mind, so that does impact sometimes. The discipline definitely is a key, no matter what you do, whether it's through CA or doing anything in life. So some of those things could have been done in a better way. And I think, yeah, if I have to do things again, probably I would look upon some of those things as to be able to do better, to save on the time that I spent while just appearing for the exams.
Okay. So Mohit, can the thing that when we last connected as well, and we did an entire story, it was very clear that you used the time, the time when you were studying for your CA. It was not spent only studying, because that's what people do. They take a break from work, and then they're only studying, and then they get frustrated, right? So from what I see, Mohit and Rohit, both of you have worked continuously. So can you tell us about your learnings? Okay, where were you working during your during the tenure after your articleship? Where were you working, what profile, and and what were your learnings in that phase, and how did you ask for study leave? Were they okay with study leave? How many days of study leave? Also, how did you come back from office and study, or it was just during the last 15 days that you studied? If you could just take us through that.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. I used to take long leave as well, and as I mentioned that I was working with my uncle back in Lucknow from articleship, and then afterwards as well for a few years. Uh, so I was allowed study leave in a way, but I did try to restrict that period as much as possible. And as soon as I would appear for my exams and get back to work for a few months, it was a bit relaxed at that time. But then when I went outside, went over to Delhi, it was a bit more difficult. The number of leaves that I could take was restricted. And what's interesting is that I cleared my exams when I didn't get leave for my studies. Uh, so it was more around the presence of mind at the exams, more about how relaxed you were. So when I qualified the first time for one group, I just could manage leave for the period of the exams. I was working the night before the first exam until about 7 o'clock in the evening. I came back home, just did a bit of studies, and took 4 days of leave just to appear for the exams, and I cleared. So sometimes you think of it, it's not relevant that how much of leave that you take, how much of study. Probably I would have already gone through the learning of the theoretical studies by then, because I'd already appeared for the exams multiple times. But it's also important that how balanced your mind is when you're appearing for the exams during those 3 hours, how much you're able to deliver in the exams during just that particular period. So it's obviously important that how much you studied, but uh, that is really the key. It was difficult to ask for holidays during that time. At some point of time, I did have to uh, actually go without pay just to get a few days of leave to study. But yeah, luckily I had good employers who were also supportive of my education, and then they kept on allowing me time to study and appear for the exams.
Okay, that's nice. Rohit, I ask you the same question. Okay, can you explain your work experience during that phase? How did you balance with office and studies? And in your case, you had a family as well. So,
Correct.
can you elaborate?
So, as I started after completion of this articleship, I immediately joined a very small, unorganized type of industry where the promoter-driven industry, where I was the only responsible for all gamut of accounting, you name it, like direct taxation, indirect taxation, secretarial, and all that stuff. The exposure were very much, and it was a very good organization in terms of volume. So there, the promoter was also not aware what kind of studies you are pursuing. It was more that okay, you need a leave, you can go ahead for 2 3 days of leave, but not that a fancy 30 days leave for exams as we used to have the examples while we were in the articleship period and all. So that was the first challenging point, that how will you able to manage within a span of say 7 days of exams and another 3 4 5 days. So asking leave for 2 weeks was also a nightmare for me precisely. But still, at one point of time, after working for say a year or so with the organization, when I was not able to clear, I thought at one day that even if I need to lose a job, I'll stop everything. But as priority is to clear my exams, because whatever you say, whatever you feel, when you start leaving your books, leaving your studies, not at the pace as you were doing in during your articleship or at the student level, the things keep on changing on a daily basis. You keep on distracting for a lot of other stuff as well. It's not your 9 to 5 job that you went to office, came back, and nobody is asking after that. It was not like that. So you, if you're handling the entire stuff as a sing soul-handedly, you might have to attend calls even at night in the evening as well. So that was the challenge. But still, thankfully, my employer understand this, and I got some 15 days of time, multiple times. But even that is the problem. When you keep on asking every time, you feel yourself embarrassed. What should I do? Should I go again and ask for a 15 days of leave? That's against a question mark. Even employer being a nice person or a good person, he might show you some kind of face that you will feel awkward or embarrassed. So all sort of things was happening every semesters and all that stuff. But as I said, you need to forego your ego. You need to forego your um, everything which you feel that it is distracting me. The ultimate goal is to clear your exams. So these kind of thought process always persists over there. But thankfully, I got some leaves during appearing for exams, be it 15 days of time, 10 days of time, and things like that. But one thing was very clear. Whenever I used to come back from office on a daily basis, I study, be it half an hour, as I said, of your professional, the best interest subject, be it accounts or costing or whatever. Because in practical fronts, you were dealing with all that stuff. You are handling with the auditors. You were making cost sheet. You are making finalization of balance sheet as well. A lot of things on a practical front comes into play. You have been, when you were discussing with the auditors, you come to know a lot of audit checks points as well. So you get this practical experience. But more on practical experience and writing in exams are two different things. You might have the understanding of the working what you are doing, but if you need to pass, you need to write what is written in the exams, in the textbook. So yes, you are getting some grasp of understanding, but study needs to be there on a daily basis. So that was there.
So, from
And
what, yeah,
just
yeah,
sorry
you
to
add.
interrupt, but- and just to add to what Rohit also mentioned around how you're able to take out time for your studies. It's obviously hard. There's no substitute for hard work. So you need to manage. You need to be able to manage both things simultaneously together. Uh, because if you keep yourself locked up in the room just to study, you're not opening your mind to the world. And it's important for the curriculum like CA that you know what the real life, what's happening in the real life, what's happening in the industry, and that makes things a lot very relevant. It opens up your mind when you're preparing for those exams. So definitely hard work needs to be done, along with whatever the luck or the family support that you have. There's no substitute for hard work here.
Correct. And in addition to this, you need to control your distraction as well, because at certain point of time, the distraction cannot be only your work profile. Your family also comes into place, because once you're married, you have a wife. She might be understandable. She needs to understand how what's the problem you are facing. Then you have a daughter or a kid. You need to give time to them also. So managing all that stuff, that's the reason these are the grooming parts. The managing skills which we were doing in 2007 is somehow going to help in over the period of time when you are established. So these are all ladders which needs to be taken very minutely, because all this experience comes into your help one on other day.
So from what I have seen, both of you have kept a very cool and open mind in spite of the challenges. You all had supportive families. Okay, you all didn't let the failure, the worldly failure of number of attempts impact you all. You all kept going and you all kept working. You all didn't, just you and you all had supportive employers. Right now, there's one question from Nirmit. Okay, he says, my attempt started with 2017, and after several attempts till 2020, he got married and now he has a kid, and that continuous failure devastated him so badly that he doesn't have any degree and no more zeal to choose all my activities and sit back to study. And this is the story of most people, right? So what would you tell Nirmit?
So, as I can relate with what Nirmit has said, it was always happening with me. I got married and I had a baby as well. So, I only say that Nirmit does not lose hope. Please, whatever, there's no difference which has happened in 2017 and 2020. The only difference which you have been facing is that you have been attempting for last 3 years, but you're not getting success. You have your family support as well. So my suggestion, my request is that please keep on trying with your studies. Make a different strategy what you were following as of now. Might that help? But losing your temperament or frustration will not going to help. Ultimately, if you leave this course, nothing will going to achieve. You need to achieve this, and for this you need to keep on motivating yourself. You need to look after your families, and you need to motivate yourself. Rather, you need to motivate your family also, that yes, one day I will able to achieve this. Otherwise, if you lose, there's an end to your journey which you started in 2017. So don't keep along the tag of failure along with you. That's my suggestion to him.
Yeah, and it's very difficult when you have a family, have children as well, to work around some of those things. But just go with a plan. Just set up a plan on how you can take out some time from your regular schedule for your studies and work. So I think it's important to again get back to discipline and a planned approach to organize your time during the day. You need to be able to do all those things. So that you can achieve what you want, whether it's going for the CA degree or any other qualification as well. One would need to study, even if it is a different qualification.
Okay. So do you feel, I mean, I understand CA is an amazing qualification, right? It's very well respected, right? But if you look at it today, if you look at it in 2023, right, there are a lot of other career opportunities as well. If even if you want to be a finance person, unless you want to be an auditor, with your own CA practice and signing audit reports, right, you can still pursue other qualifications. Like Mohit and Rohit are both working for international companies, right? So what advice could you tell Nirmit, maybe any other qualification other than CA, because which he can do to at least progress in his career? Go ahead. Right now he doesn't have a degree. Something which you could advise, which you'll have seen others doing well with.
I think if you are not able to clear your CA, but you still want to be in the same domain, I presume you want to be in the finance sector because you have a back career behind your 2017 to I think CFA or a CPA can be looked at, because nowadays a lot of people are looking for CPA, be it US or Australia, but still, even though you need to start from the scratch from there. So uh, my first suggestion is to clear your CA. But if not, you're not able to clear, then you may look for CPA as well, where you can able to interact. You can have the same curriculum. Even ACCA has also come up with a similar kind of structures, and now employers are recognizing ACCA as well in India, precisely in Delhi NCR region as well. So this approach can be looked at, but still you need to start from the scratch. Even outside countries like UK and US also considers this ACCA qualification, if I am not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Mohit, would you want to add since you're at PayPal?
Yeah, certainly, and there are a lot of good curriculum other than CA as well. If one wants to go for it, if you think that that's not something that motivates you, don't go any further to appear for the exams. There are different other opportunities that one can go through, and qualification is just one part of it to make a career. uh, Again, like, I'll just repeat that the learning and how you apply that learning is a lot relevant as well. Even if you go for an MBA program, go for ACCA, go for CIMA, CMA, so that there are a lot of other programs which successful finance professionals would have gone for. What matters is that how you take that qualification to your advantage as you step into the industry, how you make worth of it. Everyone, I know, like, the success rate of CA has been much better for the last few years as it was earlier. So we know that it's not something that is easy. It is a difficult curriculum, and but then so is so are other as well, right? There was a point of time, I don't know, like during our younger days, people would either think of engineering or a doctor. So you ask what a career one would want, they would just talk about these two things in the earlier days. Now there are so many other opportunities as well. So CA is definitely one when if you're looking to be a finance professional, but then there are different other things that you can do, and entrepreneurship is another thing. Like, one can definitely be an entrepreneur. We see so many startups, and not all those finance related startups are being run by CAs. You can do a lot more other things and go through your career journey in a successful manner.
Absolutely. So, Nirvit, like, you don't have to feel underconfident or just because you don't have your CA degree. I would say you can pursue a lot of others and, continue doing what you're doing if CA is not meant for you. There's no need to complete a qualification if, you feel it's not going to add value, especially in the time that we are today. Going through that entire journey of, one failure after the other might, you would rather pursue something else. Like in the UAE, I'm currently based in the UAE, they're hiring so many these semi-qualified people are doing a lot more better than Indian CAs, than CAs in India. So there's no gap between the qualification. That's what I feel.
And just to add, there is a still larger scope which was not there in 2004-5. The boom of the capital market also. So one can explore in that perspective area as well. There are a lot of courses there in the market where you can come across to gain the knowledge with capital markets. So it's also a very booming area, and a lot of this brokerage houses like Motilal Oswal and other the big houses have been inducting a lot of semi-qualified person also with a sound knowledge of capital market. So one can explore in that perspective area as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. RM roles, corporate banking, most of them are BCom grads with very simple MBA degrees, but they are doing so fantastically well, right? So there is
Yes.
a lot of opportunities if you don't brand yourself as just a semi-qualified and label it. I think the biggest mistake people do is labeling themselves. Yeah, I am now in this box. Instead of moving out or either completing it. Correct? I just feel, and that's what you both have done. You'll have not labeled yourself from what I'm talking to you all. You'll have no bitterness. You'll have not labeled yourself, and you'll have motivated yourself because your journey was so tough. 10 years is not easy, right? So yeah. Okay, so I have one more question for you all, but we'll take another question from Ekta. She says, "Hi, I also appeared for my exam in 2017, first time. Now I've started working for the past 1.5 years. I have taken leaves for May 2023, but I've always fail because I'm unable to study because of lack of motivation. I always feel lazy and try to gain exemption in one subject, but I'm unable to do so and focus. So I get distracted and then I go off to sleep and I fail in my exams. So, what would you tell her?
Yeah, I think it's important that one needs to have the passion to do what they're doing, not just about CA, but anything that you're doing. And in order to pursue that passion, what you need is to be disciplined in the approach. Things are not just going to be served on the platter. You'll have to go and get them. So if you really want to appear and qualify for an exam which is a serious business like this, you need to keep yourself disciplined and motivated and keep studying. So need to put your head down, put the hard work in. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult, not just with CA but for any career that you're pursuing.
Correct.
Okay. So how do you keep the motivation on? Like, even if you feel low, you have to pump yourself up. Like, okay, I'm gonna make it happen. Is it that way? Because so it's an everyday process.
Yeah, that's right.
Please go ahead.
It's an everyday process. You need to just keep thinking about yourself. Need to keep the confidence in yourself on how you can do things in a better way. That's important. I think another thing that people should look at is to read through a lot of articles, read through the leaders, the business leaders, on how they have done things in their career. Not just about finance professionals, but any business leader. Uh, so that does help you understand on what's happening around the world and how you need to go for certain things in your life as an ambition to pursue.
Okay, Rohit, would you want to add?
Yeah, yeah, sure. We keep on saying that we need to motivate ourselves, but how do we motivate? Doesn't nobody says about that. So it's an inherent that we need to take care of. If I like, I was reading what Ekta said that she felt sleepy. So if you know your negative points, you need to come out your negative points with. As simple as that. Motivation always does not mean that you need to go in and study every day and night, every hour of the. You just need to point out your negative points and get rid of them. As simple as that. Once you get rid of your negative points, your positive thinking start flow into, and things will be much easier than this. If you make a euphoria that I need to clear my exams, you need to clear my exams, then this will never happen. Be calm, be on a regular process. Whatever you do on a regular day-to-day working, go ahead and do it, but don't make it scary or fear, or feel that this is something which I need to be accomplished, otherwise I will be left over and things like that. Please stop thinking on that perspective. Remain calm, get rid of your negative thoughts, and just study and appear for exams. As simple as that.
So, from your conversation, I understand that you all are saying don't compare your journey to anybody else. Keep doing what you're doing, and eventually things will fall in place. If you want that thing, go for it. Else, there are other opportunities, but don't succumb to this depression or unnecessary, feeling demotivated because it's a part of life. It's going to happen. And read a lot of motivational stuff so you know that somebody else has also been through it and that will push you through. That's what you're
Peer
saying.
comparisons should be stopped. What I believe, we should not compare with what other friends are doing, or other colleagues are doing, or what they are doing. They have achieved so much. We first and foremost we should stop comparing, because every individuals have different capacity, understandings, and thought process. So we might not be same in all parameters. We might achieve little late, but even if we achieve, even after late, it's we are at par with all others. Within your organization or your friend circles or your family, and things will not matter at that. Even I recall at one point of time, I had my finals exams. The in the year when I qualified, I had my cousin sister wedding. I could not able to attend, and I was heard that you have been preparing for so many attempts. What will happen in this attempt? You should have come to your sister wedding. I said no, it's not my sister's wedding. I can always go and talk to her at later point of time. But somehow, if I appear and if I get cleared, then everything is all okay. And thankfully, I got cleared in that attempt only. So that these keep things keep on coming out everyone's day of life. You need to be disciplined. You just need to remove your negative thoughts. Positive things will always come into place.
Okay, so we have another question from Rehan. Okay, he says, so after this, I have two more questions for you all. So we'll take this as a last question. How much does it matter as to what age we clear, these professional qualification, especially if someone wants to switch to finance by clearing these exams? Mohit,
So
you can take
I,
this.
so I would say yes, it does matter as far as age is concerned in certain instances, because every company has a certain path for their employees on how they have the career progression. So sometimes it does have an impact, but then it's not everywhere. It's not all the time, and the things that you would have done during the time you have gone through achieving the qualification. So use that to your advantage, uh, and show the world that hey, you're more mature than probably the others, uh, as far as the number of years of qualification is concerned. That's how you can take your age to your advantage. But yes, every company has a certain policy in mind. They do have a certain standard. They have different parameters when they're hiring certain professionals. So it might impact sometimes.
Okay, okay. So I will. I have this one question. Okay, which is how do you approach the job market? After multiple attempts, how do you approach the job market? Okay, if both of you can answer it, that's one. Secondly, on the salary compensation. Okay, so how do you negotiate that? Hey, you know what? I must have qualified my CA right now, but I've got 10 years of experience doing exactly the same which another CA was doing. Okay, so can Mohit you start with it, and then Rohit you can also address the same question. These two questions.
So if you have to again going into the job market, it has to be the same as anyone else, right? Whether you've attempted once or you've attempted 10 times. Ultimately, you're going into the job market as a qualified professional. I think some of these questions which come up at a later point of time when you go through some of these interviews, and that's when you need to call out things where you stand out better as compared to others. Uh, so it's the companies that don't generally they don't advertise that hey, you're not qualified, yeah, you're not eligible to even apply if you got given multiple attempts. But it's generally during the interviews, and that's where the person should look at opportunities, how they can actually show the value that they have as compared to others, even if they've taken more attempts on that. As far as the salary related negotiation is concerned, again, like that's a lot dependent on the individual, on what a person is worth it. And it's not just when you're starting off your career, but then even later on as well. One needs to show the value that they are able to provide to an organization. Even when you go out as an individual, if you go out to buy something, you pay the price that you think it's worth it, that the value that you're going to get out of it. The companies also look at it from the same way, right? So number of attempts in the exams, that's a thing of the past. But the companies would look at an individual on what value they can provide, how much they're really worth to them when they start working in that organization.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
just to add what Mohit said with respect to the job market and the salary structures. Earlier, there were little scope with respect to the candidates who are appearing for exams and getting it cleared and floating their CVs in the portals. Now there are multiple options. Like LinkedIn has come up with so much features in last 10 years, 7 years. Naukri.com is there. Then other small groups of WhatsApp floating here and there with respect to job markets. Telegram groups are there. So getting a job nowadays is not a big challenge. The only concern which at some point of time even faces by the new qualified chartered accountants are that some companies, those who are in the cream player, the niche player, they sometimes ask for first attempt qualified or rank holders. But how many will you find the first attempt qualified and rank holders? There are a lot of n number of companies they want to do their business with the qualified, because even if you qualified after 5 years of a multiple attempts, you are at the same level at 5 years. The only matters which I believe is the experience what you have gained over this 5 years. yes, your salary may be lower during this semi qualified period and a qualified period, but that once you are clear your exams and you are qualified, there should not be any difference with respect to your salary component. The only thing which is matter with the experience. When you interact with your employer will understand your thought process, your way of speaking, because at our level or even at the qualified level, say with a 5-10 years of experience, nobody is going to ask you to write a general voucher entry to show your CA qualification skills. It what depends upon your experience, how you can handle the complex situations. So it has no relevance with the number of attempts you have qualified. I believe if you have qualified in multiple attempts, you have a positive factors with you, that you have an additional advantage of perseverance in your hand. You have a patience, you have a perseverance. That please treat this as a positive thoughts rather than as a negative thoughts. So this will always help someone. At least it helps me a lot.
Okay. And when you look back, if you look back, do you feel that those years doesn't matter right now? Even if you had cleared in the first attempt, you all would have been at the same place, or do you feel that attempts mattered early, or attempts doesn't matter at all? Like once you become a CA, it doesn't matter in your career progression. If you're going to take
I
it.
believe at start of the career when you are just freshly qualified, at that point of time there is still a matter, because even the institute, when they come up with this campus placement, you the first attempt qualifier will get a preference than a multiple attempt. That's for sure. And I am not saying that that is wrong something, because everybody looks for, they wanted to discriminate, but the personal and a professional front and a personal experience when you are in the market, in the job market, I think an experience holder will always have a value, and more when you say 10-15 years of post qualification and a working experience, then nobody will going to ask whether you are a first qualified or a multiple attempt qualified. What matters is your experience. Money is always there. You can always negotiate with couple of lakh rupees here and there, but that will not make it such difference.
Yeah, and I agree with Rohit on that. I think number of attempts is the initial gate where people would ask for it. Later point of time in the career, it's more around what you're able to offer. Uh, the companies don't want your qualification; they don't want to print your qualification on their wall, right? It's more about what you can offer to them, so that becomes more relevant. And yeah, initially when you're getting for your first job, that's where it becomes a bit relevant. So it may be a slow start for those who've taken multiple attempts, but then there's always time to catch up and go beyond the others who've probably taken lesser attempts. But again, like it's dependent on the individual capabilities, individual attitude. That's what is going to matter down the line.
That's well said. So capabilities, attitude matters, and in the long run, it doesn't matter. It might matter for the first year, second year when you go, but later on, I mean, there's no comparison, and you can always negotiate a higher salary. And I think it's how you look at yourself also. If you look at yourself as someone less, then that's how the world's going to also look at you. I think
So salary again, like you're going to get what you can show the worth that you can offer, right? Salary is going to follow. If you have the learning, if you know how to do things, if you have the experience, you can definitely command a better salary anywhere.
Okay. So Rohit and Mohit, any closing statements, to others who are either still struggling and who are going to clear with after multiple attempts? Your closing advice. So
So my closing statement is simple. Please do not lose hope to all the students who are appearing. As we saw, Ekta and Imrit was there. So my only suggestion to those people and all the students, please do not lose your hopes. If you are not achieved as of day, you will definitely going to achieve at later point of time. Don't leave in the middle. If you are confident, please be stuck to here, because every learning, every failure, you will learn a lot of things going forward, and that will always help in your career, in your family, in your remaining part of your life. So all the best to all those students who are still pursuing, and please be in touch if they want to a personal session or something like that. They can contact with Chantal or us directly uh, for their help and understanding. That's from my side.
Yep. Yeah, similar thoughts from my side as well. I think just follow your gut. Uh, do what you think is right for you. Do what you like doing. If you like what you're doing, you'll definitely be successful in it. So just follow your gut and follow your passion. Good luck to all who are listening in. And if you have taken multiple attempts, you still want to do it, go ahead and pursue it. If you think that you don't want to do it anymore, there are different other opportunities available. So don't just stick around on that if you don't like it.
And continue motivating yourselves. I mean, that's the only way out for everyone, right? So,
Certainly.
okay, cool. So yes, Mohit and Rohit, thank you so much for the time and for this amazing conversation. And thank you everyone for joining in. If you all have any questions, feel free to add Mohit and Rohit on LinkedIn, and they'll be more than happy to address your questions or have a chat. Or you can reach out to us. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
joining.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. See you.